to enable your mid laner to enable the rest of your team. We're on to the Rift, Red against Pain for game number 1.
Here we go. I love you pointed out that mid jungle movement, right? And Lee Sin is a champion that he kind of is used to doing it himself, right? And his early game power, his early game play, and even his late game playmaking is really strong. But you do become a bit of a one button Boris in the late game. Shout out to my friend Mike. That's his. He's not watching. I don't know why I felt the need to give credit there, as if he would know I was stealing it. But also what you pointed out with Dinketo on the Swain. Right. Yes, it's a bit of an odd pick meta-wise, but like you said, into something.
Sorry about that. For my headphones just died for a second, so I apologize.
Right.
I missed the end of what you said, but I like the one button Boris reference right there. I mean, Lee Sin just is such a playmaker, and I know 4x4 you were really high on Aegis's play this split. You had him as your first team jungler, and it does feel like Aegis has had a great split. By and large, and been able to influence lanes so much. And on a champion like Lee Sin, being that playmaker, it's just so necessary. I do want to point out as well, Titan going for the Ghost on the Xayah. We were talking about the kiting potential later on against this Swain. Really like that summoner spell choice. It just feels like it'll be very effective at doing exactly that, kiting out that Swain as we want to see.
Yeah, I mean, and with the playmaking in the rest of the composition for Pain, right? Maybe it's not as big a deal because you do have kind of a lot of buttons, whether it's a Narbar, whether it's Rakan taking creative angles and such, and the vibe with a point and click CC ultimate. You do have ways in that can allow Dinketo to get in there, but it does feel like you said it. Red have the more kind of well-rounded composition, a couple power picks, a couple picks that we haven't really touched on. Camille up in the top lane for Bull, but then Zeri here for B-Void. This is a champion we haven't seen in a long, long time. Red bot lane hitting level 2 just barely beforehand. Ignite's already traded. Damage getting ticked low. Titan almost able with those feathers and that Ghost to take him down, but no blood.
Great restraint from damage not to flash away is going to have to base. Took a lot of damage, but I mean, it's fine, and it's not really going to lose Pain anything. B-Boy having such a significant health advantage should just be able to sit in that lane. Now, Aegis is coming down, so they might look to make a play on the stacking wave, especially with B-Boy having to dash away and sort of seed this lane just a little bit. But Dinketo having push on Avenger already. This is what we were talking about. I mean, look, Avenger's not always going to have that push. However, you've got to consistently find those timers as the mid laner. Karaoke, meanwhile, appearing on the top side. So jungler's actually in a mismatch clear right now. This is not really what I expected. I kind of expected both junglers to path towards bottom, let the top laners just duke it out, but seems to be a different story. Aegis has free time down here.
Yeah, but Scamber immediately landing the hook here with that level advantage, playing on these margins, but the wave in a tough spot for Aegis to really impact it. But like you said, Aegis, he's going to be playing down through the bottom lane. The win condition, the consistent win condition anyway, for Red has been Titan. One of, if not the best, most consistent AD carries in, well, maybe not consistent, but his highs have been really, really high. And look, the dude, last year was a 2-time champion, right? We went to Worlds and MSI, won the double in 2018 on a Kaboom roster that featured Dinketo, featured Ranger. That was kind of the next generation roster, and all those players have gone on to do incredible things on the different teams that they've ended up on. Damage placing a forward ward here, taking advantage of a lack of lane presence from Scamber as he's looking in the mid lane to potentially make some sort of play.
And
go ahead.
Just to speak on Titan as well, having the second highest damage share in all of CBLOL behind only House, the mid laner for Fluxu. So, I mean, clearly Red just relies on this player so much to be the big X factor. But you mentioned the problems with always being a consistent carry, and we've spoken about the difficulties of Red staying consistent throughout the split. And honestly, that's where it starts. Titan, when he's on, he's on. This team feels unstoppable. But when he's off, boy, is he off. We've seen some stinkers from Titan so far this split. So now here in the playoffs again, we're again looking at it as like this big test. Avenger, can you stack up well against Dinketo? Titan, can you consistently carry your team and be what they need you to be? Both those questions need to be answered yes against a Pain Gaming roster that has looked so good.
Avenger burning the TP to get back to lane. He's coming back with those Ionian boots. Dinketo. Both these laners actually taking minion dematerializer and commencing stopwatch as well. So it kind of tells you a little bit about what they want to do on the map, knowing that they are facilitators, right? They are playmakers. There is so much damage elsewhere coming from the bottom lane. Even on the top side, Weiser has come back with a cull. We talked about it. Pain, they are very okay with playing for the late game. Whereas Red, this composition, yeah, Titan is your late game carry. Again, consistency or not, that is where they put all the eggs in the basket. But they do have early and mid game skirmishing power. And 5 minutes in, we haven't really seen a ton of action, a ton of putting the pedal to the metal from Red, with the caveat, to be fair, that in the playoffs, games move slower.
Yeah, true. You know, all these teams, they don't want to be the first one to make a mistake. Karaoke is just going to shadow towards mid, shadow towards bottom, make sure everyone's able to push out. Is a hook landing, but damage just Rakan is so slippery, so hard to jump on. Aegis is spending so much time on this side trying to get his bot lane a timer, but it's just not really come through. And again, you mentioned it, Red, they want to find early skirmishes, but it has not come through at least yet. Now, Herald spawning in about a minute and a half. I would expect there to maybe be action around that one. That could be where the game explodes, as it so often does. So, holding my breath, waiting. Yeah. Feels like we have a kettle on the stove, right? It's about to start screaming.
Yeah, that stove is right there in that top river. Dinkato taking a big old trade, coming out on top in that one, even with just the Doran's Ring and the Catalyst, dealing a ton of damage so far early on here in these trades. A minute till that Rift Herald spawns. And both junglers kind of shadowing up there. It is Karaoke with that early Scuttle Crab, but a Vision Stealth Ward, excuse me, there we go, in the Pixel Brush as well. Damage and Scamber trading back and forth. Now B-Void level 6 going right in with the Lightning Crash. Gets the flash out of Scamber. Ignite is back up, and that will be first blood. B-Void on the board for Pain Gaming.
B-Boy getting it done, and we spent so much time talking about how Titan is the X factor for Red. Well, we didn't even talk about B-Boy, and I mean, I don't know if you remember back in when we did the award show, RMC was so high on B-Boy, especially for a second half of the split performance. B-Boy has so consistently been brilliant for this team. Getting the first blood is a huge advantage on this area.
And again, you are pummeling into the win condition for Red. And if you're not going to get, and it's not like Xayah can't make things happen in the early game. This is the late game basket, but it's a bunch of goose eggs up in the top side, and your mid and top laners are down CS. They are not having a great time. They are not able to push and roam. I mean, with Unsealed Spellbook, right? Ignite, well, okay, don't point out the summoners with the Unsealed Spellbook, but it's not Ignite, right? It's not Electrocute, rather, right? It's not your Dark Harvest, right? These laners want to get out and make impacts across the map, but they've just been kind of checking each other. And Pain, they strike first with the cull on B-Void, mind you, and Titan had a full-on Noon Quiver.
Yeah, very true. I mean, level 6, just such a big advantage. Now, Aegis is going to be able to get the Dragon for it, but it's being traded for a Herald. I mean, Red, with this early game skirmish composition, they have just not been able to find anything. And as you touched on, Pain is just simply outplaying them in their one-on-ones right now, in their 2v2s, not giving any windows for Red to get into the game.
Nope, and Pain, with that Rift Herald, we'll see where they end up dropping it, but with a big opportunity here, some tools in hand to really blow this one open. And not for nothing, despite the one kill, despite having given up the Dragon, and not even, oh boy, Ranger, or Aegis, excuse me, in a tough spot here. Flashes away. Damage, if he had that ultimate up, he had the flash. If he was level 6, this might have been a fight that maybe Dinkato comes down and helps out. But Weiser, just throwing Bowl against the wall because he can. Why not? Again, he's up 15 CS. Weiser, you talked about it when we were talking off air. He could just be a weak side king. Bull probably going to play a carry into him. And so far, Soothsayer Hawk here coming up trumps.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been what we've seen all split. And Bull has been a player that has been willing to play those kind of carries, but just hasn't really been Bull split. He's been good. He's been very solid, but has not really been an X factor for Red. We've already gone over plenty who those players really are. And look, Camille is more of a scaling matchup in the Gnar, right? This matchup doesn't get good until you get your Sunder, until you get a lifesteal item, and you're able to start like really dominating in the side lane one-on-one. However, being down 20 CS this early on, blowing your second teleport to get back to top lane, that's not a good look. Bull is falling down really far, and Weiser just been so excellent the whole year, the whole split, looking really, really nice in this Gnar matchup. Another Cole as well. Like Kane, they're recognizing that they're not getting pressured in their 1v1s and their 2v2s. They're investing in the future because they know that they can get away with it, and Red has done nothing to punish.
It almost feels disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like, it almost feels like they're just putting that middle finger up and saying, like, I know you can't do anything. And you know what? It doesn't matter. We're not even going to try to itemize against it. Here comes Avenger now. Weiser taking a lot of damage here, and there's the flip side of that. Just as I say that, it does look a little bit disrespectful when he basically just 1v1'd you into the ground in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, all right. They are able to get it done. Weiser as the mini Gnar, not able to kite that one out. A huge kill pickup for Red, and it goes into Avenger's pockets. We'll see how he's able to translate that kill into advantages around the map, because it's still Pain with a 1.5 thousand gold lead despite the kill.
And you know what? Avenger, he saw a little window, grabbed himself a TP with the Unsealed Spellbook as that backup plan to scurry on back to lane. And look, he's still down some CS here, but he shoved and roamed. He saw a little window, went up there to try to make things happen. And the other side of the map, here comes Scamber. Flash ult right there onto B-Boy. Damage going to try to bail out his AD carry. Gets the charm down, but the auto passive is just too much from Scamber. Aegis helping out as well, and Titan getting on the board. He gets a kill back for Red, and all of a sudden, they're up 2-1.
Yeah, really nicely done from Red. That was an excellent play. They immediately base after the topside play, and then they send the other three members down to bottom lane. Pain wasn't quite expecting that timer. I think it was a bit of a mistake for them to be posturing that aggressively with Karaoke on the other side of the map, but nonetheless, it's another good play from Red, and they're starting to find those skirmishes that they so desperately need. It's not quite a game-winning advantage yet, but with that gold, with these couple of kills, maybe they can look for a fight around this dragon spawning in a minute and a half.
Well, and they've got a critical item spike as well. Their AD carry is on a mythic, whereas B-Boy is not. It's actually damage that opts into this one. B-Boy thinking he's safe, but he doesn't know that there's a Scamber lurking there, starting that play off. And Titan, like you said, it was a good rotation there. And, you know, twice, with Karaoke up there on the other side of the map. Remember, that wasn't Aegis that made that play up top, right? That was Avenger, functioning as essentially a second jungler, getting up there. You still have no eyes on Aegis.
Yeah, and Karaoke has been a jungler that throughout the split has been so good at shadowing lanes and covering plays. That's what's really stood out about this player to me, is it feels like Karaoke has always been at the right place at the right time, but so far in this game, missing out on the counter gank on top side just by a few seconds.
Yeah.
Bot lane getting ganked with him on the top side as well. Hasn't quite been able to get involved, hasn't quite been able to find those covers. I don't want to say it's Karaoke's fault. I don't want to say it's a huge mistake, because I don't think it is all on him. However, it is just a minor slip-up for the team as a whole that we've not grown accustomed to seeing on the back half of the split.
No, especially not in the back half of the split. Exactly. Bull taking a big chunk out of Weiser. He's got that Sunderer now. And looking across the map, it is 4 mythics to 2. Dragon spawning in, well, right now. This is where you got to put your foot on the gas, but Pain doing a good job of lighting that dragon pit up with wards. They know exactly what's going to happen.
But I don't think it matters. Red, this is your time to fight. You drafted a mid-game composition, a one-item composition. You want to go right now, but Pain Gaming walking into the river saying, I don't think so. I think we're going to see a 4v4.
Here we go. Scamber starting it off. Gets the hook there onto damage. He blows the depth charge immediately. Trying to get the insect in. Age is actually able to get the flash there onto Karaoke. Over the wall. B-Boy doing damage from downtown. Dinketo picking up the kill there. And now Titan has to head for the hills. That ult is not going to save him. He's going to try to take B-Boy down with him. And that item spike is able to buy him a return kill. But the double for Dinketo means that Pain come out on top.
2 for 1, and Pain does indeed come out on top. I didn't exactly see what happened in that fight. I want to see that one again, but Aegis on the initiation got interrupted and wasn't able to find anybody with the kick flash. Not a good fight from the jungler of Red, and it all went sideways.
And with that vision, like you said, it doesn't really matter, because Red should be able to just hands you, right? Just hit you with your wallet. I'm waiting for that replay because I like you. It got a little bingo. All right, let's take a look at this right now. Scamber throws the first punch.
Yeah, the initiation a bit disjointed. Scamber tries to go in, but it's only on to damage. So Red, they all start kiting out, but Aegis tries to get in there, but it's the never move. Look at that. He got yoinked by Dinkedo out of the air and tries to flash over the wall, tries to get over, but by that point, the damage was done. Dinkedo just absolutely crushing this fight by picking up the double and finding the interrupt onto the Lee Sin. So nicely done from the mid laner of Pain.
And Titan...
You get the Titan over POV shot right there of him taking down B-Boy.
Yep, not going to waste an opportunity to talk some smack saying, look, I took you down, homie. Don't you dare step up to me. And with that item advantage, again, he's able to do that. Still up effectively a half item here, and now Red may have caught damage out, and indeed they will. Titan grabbing himself another kill. More eggs into this basket. Pain with the lead for sure, but Red not going down quietly.
Some mistake from B-Boy that damage ends up biting the bullet for. However, I do want to applaud damage. That was a total get down Mr. President move right there. Eats the hook for his 80 carry and allows Mr. President to live another day. So nicely done from damage. It is a mistake, but a good death. Good death from the support nonetheless.
Oh, man. That was pretty good. But Dinkedo. All right, we talked about him. Sweet Mercy Wiser. Woo!
Bull, what's going on? This is when I said the matchup was supposed to get good. We're still down 30 CS and flashing away. Man, Wiser is just dominating. That is a Trinity force in this Nars inventory. Completed Cole as well. That's going to be a tower going down first brick in a straight 1v1, by the way. Karaoke never showed up here. Losing the tower in the straight 1v1, not a great look. They are going to TP for it, but with Wiser going mega, I think he's just fine.
He's still got his tower, 3 members up. He didn't know that Bull was TPing there, but he saw with the wards that his team had in that top river. He goes, there are a lot of bodies heading my way. Yeah. This can't be good. And is able to hightail it out of there. Like you said, got the mega. Dinkedo, meanwhile, on the bot side, getting that tier 1.
Exactly. It saves the tower on top, but the cross map's too good. Pain, they're just too dominant in their lanes, and we're still seeing the struggles, even though Red is up a kill. Look at the gold disadvantage. They're down 4,000 just off of individual laning. Pretty much entirely. They're going to try to find a dive onto Wiser, but Wiser doing a great job of playing respectfully. Should not end up giving over a kill. They might be able to find this top tower, but it's going to give Pain Gaming such priority in mid and bot that I don't think they can commit to this.
Yeah, Dinkedo probably still had the ability to push there, but making the tempo play, saw that he had enough gold for the Rylai's, able to back immediately. He's got that commencing stopwatch upgraded to just a normal stopwatch, and Avenger as well, kind of sitting in that boat. And he's down, but he's down a full item.
Here we go.
Right, and now fight starting immediately. Karaoke getting absolutely chugged down. All that CC coming down. Dinkedo TPing up top, but he might be a little too late to the party. There goes damage, laying down a lot of CC, and Dinkedo right on top of him. B-Boy finally showed up, but is it too little too late? He's got the lightning crash with a couple autos, able to take down Scamber, but meanwhile, he's not able to take down Scamber. Just freaking kidding. On the other side, Red picking up 2 kills. It's a 3-for-0. It all goes sideways. Now B-Boy might be next on the menu here. If Avenger can land a charm max range, B-Boy flashes away.
But it's 3 kills to Red, a great pick on a Karaoke, and I can see the angle from Pain Gaming. They want to find the claps, but it was so messy. The fight on multiple fronts just does not go their way, and we finally see the skirmish comp flourish. Again, super nice initiation onto the jungler, able to find this pick, and you could tell Pain was aware that Red was in the area, but just not exactly where. And as they go back in, look at this. Damage and Dinkedo on one side, Wiser and B-Boy on the other. B-Boy, I think it's a mistake trying to clean up this kill on Scamber. Kind of gets baited by the Nautilus. I think you should just go fight with your mid lane or fight with your support and try to redraw some battle lines and you know, have a Zeri moment. But fortunately, it doesn't come through. Loses the flash, loses 3 kills. A good fight for Red, and it closes that gold gap a little bit.
Still 3,000, still up 2 towers to nothing. And that second Herald, just rewinding a little bit from Red, got kind of a whole lot of nothing. But you see, from where we were just a second ago, the gold graph starting to dip a little bit. They're making up some ground here.
But not a lot, right? They're
No.
still really far
Yeah.
down, and especially we've got dragons spawning in a few seconds. Pain, in getting the last dragon, they've really slowed down any sort of soul stacking win condition, which a lot of times when you see an early skirmish comp like the one that Red has, they use Dragon Soul as a way to shore up their scaling. They get the extra power from Dragon Soul, and it makes them scale better. So losing out on that sort of win condition actually is really difficult for this style of composition. And remember, they gave up First Herald in a gold advantage to get First Dragon to snowball that win condition. So now I feel like they feel like their backs are against the wall a bit. They just start Baron. Pain Gaming, they're aware. They're going to collapse for it while Wiser solos the dragon.
They are very aware. Titan and Aegis really, really low on health bars. Wiser has TP to join should he need to. Yeah, that Baron was started with no intention of finishing it, and Wiser completely unbothered on the other side of the map. And the soul stacking has just gone 2-0 right since
gone,
that first dragon. Yeah.
That win condition is completely gone. Now, at this point, Red does need a Baron flip, and you can tell they're getting flustered. Pain Gaming didn't really give them an angle in the early game. Or honestly, should I say, I don't think Red created an angle in the early game. It felt like they were really struggling to find any sort of window, and the few kills that they got almost came too late. Not until, like, at least after 10 minutes. So, I mean, Pain, they're just being chilling in this game. It doesn't matter that they're down 7-3. B-Boy can pick up a red buff. He's scaling on the Zeri, probably getting pretty close to the Novori Quick Blades on this one. And their mid tower is a little low, so, you know, Red, they do still have avenues, but 21 minutes in, only having one outer is just so tough.
And they equalize on towers with that mid lane tier 1. But the side lanes are wide open, actually on both sides, but with a slight advantage for Dinketo. Avenger taking a chunk out of Wiser, getting the exhaust down as well. Playing that unsealed spellbook pretty nicely. He's going to grab himself a TP as well. But yeah, I mean, look, it's still a couple of item advantages, right, on the side of Red, but it's all on Titan again. But we've seen, look, these top laners especially, I want to see them get more involved in these fights because they could really swing it one way or the other. You saw what Bull was able to do in those 1v1s, and Wiser as well. Conversely, Avenger walking right over a ward. I saw the recall animations. I thought those were Pain players initially, and I thought Avenger was about to die.
I was kind of on that same page too. I got a little nervous for a potential pick, but I mean, look, gold on Titan though. We talked about it so much in the early game. That is where you want it if you're a Red fan. Like it is not unfamiliar territory for this team, as Aegis is fake pressuring really hard right now. He does have teammates behind him, as now everyone wants to show up. Engage coming through from Bull.
Yeah, Bull took that catapult E there. B-Boy throws down the W. Here comes the TP from Wiser. Going to join the fight here. He is mega right now. Trying to get a big old ult. He doesn't have flash up. If he could have flashed over that wall, got the big ult down, but get some CC onto Scamber. Titan laying down the damage. That's an ult from him. Titan is in trouble. He has to ult away. Bull's going to pick up the kill. Titan getting run down by Dinketo. Flashes over, leaving him absolutely no escape. Dinketo says, "You're mine, homie." But the numbers advantage is even so far. CC down. Dinketo buys himself some time with the stopwatch at the 3-on-1 on the other side. Pain come out on top on that front. 2-for-1. Dinketo stays alive, and now they have sights set on Baron.
What an explosive fight. Pain Gaming are the ones that opt in after Red comes through with the collapse. Karaoke, it looked like you went really deep, but it was just a bait. And once Wiser found the Mega Gnar, it was all said and done. TP coming through. It is still a bit of a precarious situation. Aegis behind the pit. Pain Gaming is aware. Can you steal this Baron? There's no way Pain flips this, right?
You wouldn't think so, but here we go. Aegis getting the Q1 down, gets a big old kicks B-Boy out of there, but it's not the jungler, but he gets the damage out of the pit. It's secured by Karaoke, and he will die for it. Pain, you know what? The fact they only lost one for that Baron flip, I'm okay with that in the grand scheme of things.
And what an incredibly clean Baron sequence from Pain Gaming right there. They stop DPSing the Baron when Aegis goes in, force him out, and take it down. And with the Baron now in their back pockets, 4x4, Red, they had some moments in the mid game, but I think this one's going the way of Pain.
Yeah, that felt like the big stabilizer, right? Let's take a look at this fight again, though. Yeah. It was Bull that thought he had that in there, but it was the Mega Gnar that was the difference maker there from Wiser once he TPs in.
And just look at how much time Karaoke is buying on the backside of this fight throughout that entire time. And with the pull in from Wiser, It looks a little bit dangerous, but as soon as Dinkado's able to get on top of Titan with the Rylai's Crystal Scepter, there's no escaping that. And with the big carry being taken down, there's no recourse. Red just runs out of steam. They're not able to find a fight. Now, Dragon in 45 seconds, Pain Gaming, they're going to be able to start that one up. It's going to be just another full send for Red. You'd have to think they need to do something to break the status quo of this game because they are rapidly falling behind the pace. Avenger going in.
Avenger in, he gets locked up, buys himself some time with the stopwatch, damage, trying to make things happen with all his CC into the backline. He goes, slippery little Rakan able to get out, B-Boy over the wall, laying down the damage, shut down for Titan, but again, it's too little too late, he's taken too low. Dinkato is just rooting everyone in place, never move indeed, and B-Boy left completely untouched, helps Pain wipe 2 members of Red off the map, and they've got full control.
Yeah, Dinkato's Thanos at this point, man. Like, he just walks in, full demonic ascension, and picks up a couple more kills. This Swain pick, I was skeptical. I was skeptical in the draft, but damn, has it looked good. Pain is rolling.
And now with their 3rd consecutive Dragon, if that Baron was the stabilizer, then this Dragon and these fights and the push that they should be able to get off this feels like some nails are being driven into some coffins. Avenger tried to make something happen, but fighting in that choke point is exactly what Pain wanted.
Yeah, Avenger just went so deep, and no one could really follow up on the play. I don't think they had full information onto where Pain Gaming actually was, and you just can see Dinkato full HP, basically, when the fight ends, taking nothing. It is all too clean from the mid laner of Pain. We highlighted this mid matchup as the one that could potentially tip this series, and Avenger has been okay. He's definitely not lost the game for Red by any stretch of the imagination, but Dinkato has just been so good from minute 1 with the individual laning advantages, just taking control.
Yeah, Dinkato looks like a man on a mission. I mean, even the small advantages the small plays that Red were able to make, right? I highlighted Avenger, able to get the push in mid, grab himself a kill up top, right? I tip my cap to Avenger, right? This game is rapidly spiraling out of control for Red, but especially given that the community perception, and I think for the most part, rightfully so, is that this mid lane matchup is night and day. He has held his own. He's been fine. Like you said, he hasn't been the reason that Red are in the position they're in. I think you just got to give more credit to Pain. They are not allowing Red any sort of avenue, and it's been that way for about 27 minutes and 16 seconds.
And it's just what we've credited this team for all season, or should I say the back half of the season. Pain Gaming just feels like they're not giving people windows into games. And I mean, Karaoke has just been so good, as I said it, at answering plays, responding to plays, playing around his lanes. Dinkato has been consistently a beast. Wiser has been an immovable object in the top lane. Like, from top to bottom, it just feels like Pain has been this team on another level when compared to the rest of the CBLOL. They may not have the explosiveness of, say, Loud, but they have far, far more consistency, and it has been a treat to watch. And Red already, I mean, they need to find an answer for game number 2, because, again, this game feels like it's all but over. Wiser, though, his life might be over, so it's something.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got to find something, and they go, oh my gosh, Wiser ulted a bunch of minions. Here's something we could do. He's got that hull breaker. This is exactly what he's supposed to do, is draw pressure down there. But 4 members of Red are down there. Well, the Wave's not in an amazing spot here. Actually, I take that back. They do get the mid-tier 2. But this is the methodical game that we thought we were going to get from Pain, right? Even with so much control, even when it feels like, for on back-to-back plays, basically, Pain have just assumed full control of this. Like you said, Dinkato got that 5th Infinity Stone, or is it 6? Is it 5 or 6 Infinity Stones?
I think there's 6, right? There total, or am I wrong? Because there's the 5 fingers, and then there's like the
one on the,
one in the
back
middle
of the
too?
Palm, yeah.
Yeah, the one in the back of the palm. So I think he's got 6.
Okay, so he has 6, and but still, there has been not yet, even though it feels like momentum-wise, there's like my spidey sense in the back of my head are like, they could just out-wallet them. They could just roll over them in team fights, but they are playing this very, very methodically.
Yeah, most certainly. I like how Wiser getting picked on the side lane. I feel like that was the my solo queue top laner strategy where they just die like randomly in a side lane and they're like, team, push something, like, team, hello? And so people always like, fine, like, let me get a tower real quick.
Yep.
But I mean, it just goes to show when you're down like this, nothing comes without a cost. Red, they get a kill, but a tower traded back, and Pain is going to be perfectly fine with how the sequence played out. 6,000 gold, pretty much exactly, is the lead, which at 29.5 minutes is pretty substantial, as damage does get jumped on. It's another pick.
Okay. And with the Baron up in, ooh, excuse me, in about 10 seconds now after my digestive happenings. On the other side, it is a Mountain Drake. Like you said, that would have been so nice for Red, especially with no true tank, right? If they were able to start stacking those up. Weiser on the other side, he's right back to what he was doing. He's got the TP. The Mega Gnar is done such a disrespectfully low cooldown on Gnar. That's something that maybe doesn't get talked. I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. That's just such a ridiculous part of that champion's kit. Here comes the Baron flip, Hawk. It all comes down.
You gotta do it. I mean, this is their only choice.
Yep. No, they have put. This is the position they find themselves in.
deep TP.
Really, there's two of them actually coming in hot. It's Avenger and Weiser. On the other side, Titan able to secure the Baron here and with an objective bounty to
B-Boy.
So Pain a little bit late, but B-Boy going right over the wall. Weiser, he has the flash if he wants to try something, but Avenger and Scamber saying absolutely not. We don't want any part of this, and no one died.
Red Canids just did the Baron in front of Pain and all walked out. I cannot believe this. Now, Pain did buy enough time to get the Mountain Soul, and Red won't be out in time for this. They should be able to rush this one down. So Pain is still going to get a potentially game-winning advantage, but I am amazed that Red was able to walk away with all 5 members and a Baron.
Yeah, and with that Baron, I think it's all the more reason not to contest this, not to run into anyone, but with a pick on Dinketo here, there goes the charm. Dinketo pops the ultimate. That's a lot of damage there with that Shadow Flake coming through from Avenger, and now Weiser and B-Boy over the wall, and this might be where the fight turns in favor of Pain. Karaoke showing up late, and guess what? It doesn't matter. They were close enough to rescue Dinketo, and Dinketo, let's be real, he kind of rescued himself. There was no taking that man down in anything close to a quick, expedient sort of manner, even when Red win, they lose.
Big play from the top laner of Pain Gaming. It wasn't a pick on Dinketo. It was just a bait once again. Weiser gets in there, finds the Gnar ultimate. It's 4 quick kills in Red. I think they're going down in game 1. Pain looking strong.
It was spicy there for a bit. You saw a little bit of what Red could do should things have gone their way. Bull can do a lot of damage here, but it's just not enough, man. I mean, Dinketo, what a performance from him. 5-0-5 on this Dinketo. Swain, hello, not the champion. Killing spree for B-Boy. They're not actually going to end here. Man, they are opting to, look, I guess hat tip to Bull. Bought them enough time? Question mark?
Yeah, Bull bought enough time, and I think Pain Gaming ran out of minions as well. So they get an inhibitor, they get 1 Nexus turret, and all the Barons are gone. So Red's Baron sneak now doesn't mean anything. And with Pain having the Mountain Soul, it should only take 1 more fight. I don't think Red has anything left in the tank. But, I mean, hey, never say die, especially in the CBLOL. That's what Dinketo was saying. When he got caught out right here, it was a nice play by Aegis to find the kickback. But unfortunately, it's Swain too tanky, and Titan having to flash away from the never move the fight was just a complete wrap once Weiser went in.
Man, yeah, and then the focus of the fight gets shifted, and Dinketo just healing at an Ocean Soul-esque rate. And at that point, it was curtains once everybody else arrived. It does feel like, yeah, it is just 1 more fight. That Mountain Soul is complete. Dinketo is going to be even harder to kill. Weiser is going to be impossible to chew through. Damage is going to have that little bit more survivability. Zeri, not that she needs that, with just so many escape tools, slippery options here. But look, man, this is the suffocating sort of game that we expected from Pain. And I guess, and maybe this is overly simplistic, but and maybe it's a little disrespectful to kind of zoom out to the next game, but I feel like in theory, right, how do you beat kind of this controlled style? And again, oversimplification here. You make chaos happen in the early game. So in theory, the idea of what Red was trying to do is fine, but they've got to find a way to just penetrate through Pain Gaming, and their late game has been suffocating, but their early and mid game was pretty bulletproof as well.
Yeah, Red just, again, they didn't really create themselves enough opportunities early on, and I mean, they picked themselves this composition, and this kind of composition definitely can work, but it requires execution, and just don't really think we saw it from them, unfortunately. And Pain Gaming was able to comfortably scale, especially with B-Boy getting a 2v2 kill. I mean, that just accelerated things even more. This is not even, honestly, like, Pain Gaming doesn't have a crazy hard scaling composition. They just have a Zeri, though, and that's just such a big difference maker when you compare things to things like Lee Sin and Ari, who don't really scale that well. Now Pain, they don't really actually have an easy way to end the game. It's probably gonna be farming until Baron comes back up, and then once that objective's on the map, we'll probably see Pain Gaming start that one up, force Red into the game-winning fight. It is an 8,000 gold lead, which is rather hefty. But I mean, hey, Red maybe going to pick up an objective bounty right here. They could be down more, right? That's the big thing. They're only down by 2 kills because of how many they were able to get early on. So it's not completely over. It just feels like compositionally it's going to be really difficult for them to find a window.
Well, the 80 carries are on even items, as well as, well, about half item is Dinketo. Top laners, again, up about a half item. And it is, for these early game junglers, it's about that time. It's Black Cleaver, GA, try to buy your team some time, shred some armor on the way down hours right now. And the damage chart, this came up earlier in the game, but this tells you a story that we have been highlighting so far. Shout out Bull, making a sneakily high appearance there, but total damage done over the game. 24k for Titan, up a full 6,000 on Dinketo, B-Boy, Weiser.
And I think this just goes to show that Red really Titan is their carry, right? I mean, that's been their blessing and their curse all season, all split, is Titan is their big carry. He can win you a lot of games, but if Titan's not enough, this team really does struggle.
Yeah, and right now, like you said, we're just sort of dotting some I's, crossing some T's. Titan has the firepower. No LDR, though. He does have the heal shred here, the heal cut, I should say, into Dinketo, which looked fair enough. B-Boy's got that, that BT as well. Weiser's got the Sterix. So there is reason for that, but it's just completely all on his shoulders. I just don't know how you take down Dinketo right now. I mean, he's just doing such a, like, you can't chew through him. And even when you could, there's just so many more options, right? Like we talked about the Viracan right at the start of the draft. That's so much playmaking. Whether they start the fight or Red start the fight right now, because of their lead, they still have full control here.
So one thing I do find interesting, Pain did not press the tempo on the Baron, and now with Elder spawning in 4 seconds, both of the super buffs are going to be on the map. Naturally, Elder is the strongest one, but this does create a little bit of a difficult situation for Pain Gaming. They gave Red control over this. They're going to be the ones forced to go in. Karaoke could be caught out.
Oh my goodness, Bull took a sweet angle there. Karaoke taken completely out of the fight. Red have a lifeline. Is it enough? Damage over the wall. Here comes Dinketo, though, and it is just too much. The health bars go down so quickly. Titan trying to health steal up here on the minions, but the surrender flag goes up along with the stopwatch. It was a good idea. The execution was right there, but it's so hard to chew through this front line of Pain Gaming. The composition is too dang hard to counter. Triple kill for B-Boy on this Zeri. The Pain train rolls on.
Pain is gonna finally get it done. Aegis is gonna fall in the base. I popped off there for a second because Damage found an insane engagement and then nobody died. Pain eventually was able to run down and clean up the kills, but wow, Damage on the Rakan, man. Able to get it done. Doesn't matter that Karaoke got picked off. It was a nice trap from Red, but Pain was just too clean throughout the game. They had too much gold, and Red is going to fall in this first one unless Avenger has anything to say about it. No Baron for Pain Gaming. They didn't take any of the super buffs. If Red is actually able to respawn here, this could create a very dangerous situation for Pain Gaming. They're trying to run down a kill. Avenger will drop, but the game will continue.
Yeah, eventually, and now he's on a 60-second respawn timer, and Pain again opting for playing it safe. Again, the wave wasn't in a fantastic spot, right? But you would have thought that they could just overpower them, just face tank a Nexus Tower. Dinketo, his health bar looks like an elementary school ruler, right? It's just too easy. And now they're going to take down that Elder. But it's so funny seeing this intensely cautious gameplay from Pain, because clearly they recognize or they see that Red, in the right conditions, Red still could win a fight here. I don't know if I agree with that, but these are pro players. There's a reason I'm here yelling at my monitor on a Saturday afternoon, not playing in a playoffs right now. all the GAs up for red. Let's see what they could do. Well, they could get caught here. Aegis in some trouble. Over the wall he goes. He's got the GA. Elder being taken low. Now they're being forced out of the pit. If they could swipe this, maybe they got something left. No. Karaoke will secure it. Aegis will go down. There goes the Fus Roda. Haven't made that joke in a while. And Elder Dragon helps Pain clean this one up. I'm not even going to say they're going to march towards a victory because I have no idea what they're going to do. For all I know, they're going to have a tea party at the Baron pit.
They're going to base, they're going to get a Baron, and they'll probably use that to end the game. Red pinging onto it. Maybe they're going to try to rush this one down. No, there's no way. There's no way they can rush it down before Pain comes back up. I can't believe after all of this 4x4, we still let the game come down to an Elder flip right there. Like, Aegis could have stolen that. That was an Elder flip. I mean, Pain, it's not been clean. I won't lie. It has not been clean. It's been dominant, but most certainly not clean. We're still just crossing T's. We're still dotting I's. I like the Fus Roda.
Thanks.
Because that really is that's what Elder feels like, you know? You're just shouting at them and and they die.
I like the sound effect. It's a very, very satisfying, visceral.
It is great. Yeah. Whoever Riot designed the Elder Dragon sound effect, like A+, you know?
Chef's kiss. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now here comes that final push. Titan, he's got 4.5 items right now. I'm not sure if he didn't. I don't think he bought and sold items, stopwatches, GAs and whatnot. I will say, I mean, I think part of the reason that this has been tough is the push, despite Weiser having, a hull breaker and TP and whatnot, he's got to stop doing that, right? The side lanes have always been pushed really far up for red. So it's been a one lane push at all points. Bull looking for a flank here. Never say die. Well, let's see it. Oh, Scamber going to miss the hook here. Damage, looking for potential way in. Titan taken out of the fight. He's going to have to retreat to the tower. They're waiting for just one lane's worth of minions. That is part of what has made this final punch so hard.
Yeah, they're not... I mean, Pain just kind of ramming their heads into the wall right now. They should be able to get through, but I'm just looking for the engage. Karaoke charging up the Vault Breaker. Here he goes.
In he goes, point and click CC, damage right on top of him. Featherstorm out from Titan. He's actually able to take down damage. Karaoke in some trouble now. Red Canids, you can never doubt them until Dinketo rolls along here, gets a stopwatch to buy his team some time, and finally they're wailing away on the Nexus. This, I believed there for a split second. I believed, but it's the hope that kills you, Hawk. Never forget that. Pain, walk away from, but I think you can see on their facial expressions right now, this was not